grown up, you're my age, and you are going to college. And I want you to imagine that you have a paper, very, very important paper, because when you're in college, like me, you write a lot of papers. All these papers you've been writing, you do that a lot in college. So I want you to imagine you've got a paper due the next day. Mason, close your eyes. You've got a paper due the next day, and you've got no time. You're like, oh man, I've got to write a paper. I've got to do my research. I've got to get it all done. So you go online and you find all these facts and all this information. Peter, close your eyes. All this information. And you copy it down really quick and you put it on a paper. You turn it in the next day. It's on time. And the next day you get a phone call from your teacher and they say, I want you in my office right away. Uh-oh, what'd I do? And you go in the office. And this teacher, she shows that paper. She stuffs it right in front of your face and it's got all these red marks all over it. And it's a big fat F at the top. And she said, this work is plagiarized. She's like, this is a failing grade because you plagiarized this paper. Okay, I want you to open your eyes. Okay, guys, plagiarism is when you take somebody else's work and you call it your own. And it's a very serious thing because you're stealing from somebody else. You're stealing their ideas. You're stealing their words. When you copy word for word somebody else's work, say you went online and you're doing research, you found a really good article or you found something, a really good fact, if you copy right from that computer the exact same thing and you put it in your paper and you put your name at the top of the paper, that is plagiarizing. And when you're as old as me, that could get you kicked out of the school. Meaning you just spent a whole bunch of money and you just got kicked out of the class, you just got kicked out of school. It is very serious. For you, it could get you a failing grade, and that's the last thing you guys need. So I'm going to teach you today how to not plagiarize. So that way you don't have to worry about it, because the more you practice, the easier it is. How we don't plagiarize is through paraphrasing. Now paraphrasing is when you take text, you take something that you see, say I saw something on the internet, I take that text and I take it and I put it into my own words. So that way I'm not copying off of somebody else's idea and saying it's mine. No, I'm taking a fact, I'm putting it in my own words and I'm putting it in the paper. You guys see the difference? Thumbs up? You see a difference? Kind of? Okay, we'll keep going. All right, so why do we paraphrase? Why do we paraphrase? Somebody raise their hand. Tell me, why would we want to paraphrase? Carly, why would we paraphrase? Good, it's to avoid plagiarism. Hey, guys, how many times have you said something and it was a really good idea and somebody else took your idea? And you're like, hey, that was my idea. I've said that so many times. My brother did that a lot. Hey, that was my idea. That's exactly what's going on. When somebody takes your idea and they said, huh, that was my idea. That's wrong. That's stealing. You just stole somebody's idea. So that's why we paraphrase. We're trying not to steal. It's easy as that. Put it down. Hands down. Thank you. All right, so we're going to watch a quick video.
Hey, those are for my report. Dear Tim and Moby, what is paraphrasing and how do I do it and when? From Millie. Good question. Paraphrasing is when you take someone else's speech or writing and put it in your own words. Well, first of all, it's really useful for taking notes. It's way quicker to summarize a book or a lecture than it is to copy everything down. And when you put something into your own words, you'll be way more likely to remember it. You'll also understand it better. Then you can use what you've learned in your own writing. For written sources, there are a few steps to writing a good paraphrase. First off, you want to read the original carefully, making sure that you really understand it. If there's a word you don't know, look into the text that you're paraphrasing. Measuring over 10 feet from snout to tail is exactly what's written in the encyclopedia. And it's something I probably wouldn't have said myself. so I'm going to rephrase it. Make sure to write down where you got the information so you can find the source again. Noting the source also means that you can avoid accidentally plagiarizing. Plagiarism is when you copy someone else's work and pass it off as your own. Yeah, it's bad. Sometimes it's hard to understand the difference between plagiarizing and paraphrasing. Copying a passage word for word is plagiarism, but so is taking someone else's ideas without giving them credit. Say one of my sources writes that some legends about dragons are based on stories of Komodo dragons. If I put that idea in my report without naming a source, that'd be plagiarism. Well, because otherwise it sounds like I came up with the idea myself. Even if I paraphrased the wording, it was based on someone else's creative idea. The word has to be quoted. Since I'm citing the source right in my paraphrase, it's clear who said it. Yeah, I know, it sounds like a lot of rules. But once you get used to it, it'll be like second nature. Anyway, you gonna help me put these back in order?
Okay. So, I know that it sounds like a lot of steps. It sounds like a lot of work. But that's okay, we're gonna just focus on the first couple of steps. And it's not so hard once you keep practicing. Trust me, even now as a college student, I have to be careful. Okay, so here are our steps. The first thing we want to do when we're going to paraphrase, when we're researching, we need to know what our topic is. So say I was researching rainforests. I need to know that I'm researching rainforests and what I'm looking for as far as with what's in a rainforest, what does it look like. I need to know what I'm looking for when I'm researching. The second thing, and this is the most important part, is when you find keywords. Now, keywords are words we don't want to leave out. When we're rewriting our facts and when we're rewriting what we're researching, we need to keep keywords, which is what we don't want to leave out. We're going to take our keywords from the text. We're going to take it out. We're just going to write down our keywords and take it from the text, and then we're going to rewrite our sentences. And then there are times where it can be really hard to paraphrase. Sometimes we just want to take and use a strategy. One of my favorite strategies is when I'm rewriting something, I can say, did you know? I can make it a question instead of just a random fact. So I can be like, did you know that Komodo dragons are 10 feet long? Instead of saying, you know, Komodo dragons are just 10 feet long. It's just a little bit longer and it sounds better. Okay, so let's pretend that we're researching on rainforests. Now, I want you guys to read the first sentence for me. Just read it nice and quiet. Okay. Our first sentence, a rainforest. I'm researching a rainforest. A rainforest is an area of the earth that is covered with plants and species. Now, looking at this, I'd be like, okay, I'm researching rainforests. So a good keyword that I need to take out is rainforest. Okay, a rainforest is an area of the earth that is covered with plants and species. Looking at this sentence, I don't really need to worry about area of the earth, but I do want to look at plants and species. Those are the two things that I would be researching. I'd be researching what's in a rainforest. Okay, so those would be my keywords for the first sentence I would write. Thinking about how I would phrase my sentence, here's what I put down. Did you know that a rainforest is a place that has many plants and animal species? Is that the same thing as up here? No. I just have my keywords. If I just have keywords, that's okay. But if I were to write down a rainforest is an area of the earth that is covered with plants and animal species, or did another keyword that they see? Caleb.
Rainforest, enormous in height.
Okay. Let's look at, well, we're still talking about rainforests, trees, and how about, let's put height. We don't want a ton of words. The more words we take from the sentence, the more likely we are to plagiarize. So we just want a couple key words. Okay, so here's a sample sentence that I did. Massive, tall trees grow in the rainforest. So, my words, the only ones that you'll see matching here are trees and rainforests. I liked how Caleb pointed out enormous, but instead of enormous, I decided to use a similar word, massive. That way it wouldn't be the same. Does that make sense? Thumbs up? Let me see. Who's kind of like, who's still kind of struggling? A little bit? Okay, let's do one more. One more. Carly, let's look at this sentence. Because now we've got our plants. Let's talk about the species that are in a rainforest. We're going to look at this one right here. Everybody read very unique plants and animals. Read that sentence right there for me. Nice and quiet. From here to here. Okay, Carly, looking at that sentence, what is a key word that we can take from that sentence? Okay, well, we already talked about plants. We already covered plants. We're looking at species now. Riley, what's a word that we can take from this?
Animals.
Okay, animals, that's a good one. Demadre, what's another one? She took yours. Uh-oh. Heidi, what's another one?
Poisonous.
Poisonous? Okay, well, let's look at, poisonous is good, but let's make sure we're talking about frogs. Because we need to know what's poisonous there.
But the frogs, wouldn't that be taking like the exact name?
We'll get to that one. All right, we've got one more thing I kind of want to look at. Mason. Nope, we're not talking about plants. We're talking about species. Garrison.
Unique.
Unique's a pretty good one. But hey, guys, look at this. Toucans. That's an animal. You need to hold on to that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we've got some keywords. We've got toucans, poisonous frogs, animals. Unique's a good word too. So if I were to rewrite this, big long sentence, rare would be my replacement for unique. Rare animals, such as birds with long, colorful beaks and poisonous frogs live in the jungle. Birds with long, colorful beaks. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? What word in that sentence? Anthony. A toucan. Did I have to say toucan? No. Maybe I didn't know what toucan was, so I needed to do some further research. Just like in Brain Pop, where they didn't know what a Komodo dragon was, they had to do their research. So I did my research and I rewrote what a toucan was up here. And that way I wouldn't be plagiarizing. And frogs, poisonous frogs, live in the jungle. Okay, you guys are doing fantastic. Let's move on. Does this picture look familiar? Yeah, where's it from? Good. Social studies textbook. You guys will be doing research on a historical figure. So I'm helping you out, so y'all need to pay really close attention. So that way when you get to this part, you won't have any issues.
Yes,
Now,
because they have to paraphrase everything that goes on their research sheet. You can no longer copy facts anymore after today.
Yep. So guys, pay close attention to what I'm saying. So, looking at this picture, what do you notice? What do you notice, Carter?
That the topic is about mice.
Good. So I know what I'm researching. Christopher Columbus is what I'm researching. Guys, notice how a lot of these words are highlighted. Those would be key words. That saves you a whole lot of work. So when you open up your page to whatever you're researching, words. So notice, I wrote my keywords separately. So that way I already kind of had a clue of what my keywords were. Okay. So go in here. Yeah. Go in here. We're going to look at this paraphrase. Read this. Really decide if this is a good or a bad paraphrase. Here's my text. In between the two pink. That's the text. Sorry, guys. Okay, who thinks it's a good paraphrase? Raise your hand. Who thinks it's a bad paraphrase? Okay. Sanaya, why do you think it's a bad paraphrase? Okay. Christopher Columbus wanted to find a better way to get to the Indies, which is part of Asia. Let's read our text. He wanted to find a better way to reach the Indies, a part of Asia with rich gold, spices, and other goods. Why would it be a bad paraphrase? Lyris.
Because it has an exact word from the text.
Yeah. Instead of, okay, you said Christopher Columbus, but he wanted to find a better way to reach the Indies, a part of Asia. That's a whole lot of words, and that would be plagiarism. All right. Yes, Carmen.
It's like copying my name word for word. It's like Christopher Columbus, and that just said riches and gold,
Exactly.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's the only difference. That's a big, big problem. Let's move on to the next one. All right, read this for me, and I'm going to show you where in the text. That's the text you want to read, and that's the paraphrase. Read that for me. Who thinks this is a good paraphrase? Who thinks this is a bad paraphrase? Okay, well, let's look at it. Did you know that in 1492, the only known way to trade with the Indies was by crossing land? Here's our text. At the time, Europeans had only one way to reach the Indies, the difficult land journey over the Silk Road. What are some similar words in this text? Caleb?
Like crossing land.
Okay, land. Indies. One way. Three things in this text, Daquan. Three things, just three. Would that make it plagiarized? No, not at all, because those are my key words. Everything else was in my wording. And 1492 is up here. But that's okay. Dates are okay. Okay. I want you, everybody, copy down this first one. And I want you to underline the key words you think would be used to paraphrase it. Looking at this text, who thinks they found a keyword? What's the keyword?
Christopher Columbus.
Okay, yep, that's our man. That's the guy we're talking about. What would be another good keyword for this? Carly. What is it? Okay, we could do Queen Isabel or just Queen. What about King? Should we involve the king in this?
Yes.
Yes, that would be a good one.
Mr. King.
Let's do one more.
What is it? Queen and King.
One more. Julia.
Propose.
Propose. Okay. Propose is okay. But we want to go with something a little more detailed. Caleb, what's a good one?
Expedition. Expedition and Indies.
Okay, expedition, Indies. Alright, now looking at those keywords, see if you could paraphrase it. Just see if you can write something down that would be a good paraphrase. And then if you come up with a good one, I've got some Briar books I would love to give away. Do you have one, Taquan? Awesome. Taquan has one. Does anybody else have one ready? Okay. Taquan, why don't you share with us?
Mine was the king and queen is gonna get married.
Propose. Okay, who knows? That's close, but who knows what propose is? If Christopher Columbus is proposing a plan, what's he doing? Mason. He's telling them. He's saying, hey guys, I got an idea. Why don't we go do this? So propose isn't marriage. He's telling them of a plan. So try again. Try again. Keep thinking. Keep brainstorming. Caleb.
Did you know that Christopher Columbus came up with a plan to sail to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, who were in the Indies?
Okay. Christopher Columbus proposed his plan for an expedition to the Indies to King Ferdinand. Okay, I get what you're saying. That would be noteworthy. Okay. What he's doing, he's telling the king and the queen of a plan. He's not actually sailing to them. He's telling them of a plan that he wants to go to the Indies. Garrison.
Christopher Columbus pronounced the plan so the expedition, wait, did I say it? Will go well for the king and the queen to go to the Indies.
That's a pretty good one. Campbell, did you have one? Go ahead, Anna.
Christopher Columbus shared his idea for a journey to the Indies to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella.
That's a pretty good one as well. What if we just said Christopher Columbus shared his idea to go to the Indies with the king and queen? Would that work?
Yes.
I think so, because it would be talking about the king and the queen journey, and he had an idea to go to the Indies. Okay. What I want you guys to do, listen, eyes here, eyes on me. Heidi, eyes on me. Each one of these is a color for your group. So raise your hand if you're in green group. Green group, raise your hands. Okay. When I tell you and when I turn on the lights, I want the green group to go to this table. And what we're going to do is we're going to paraphrase these sentences. If you are in purple or orange group, you're going to this carpet. If you are in red group, you are going to this carpet. If you're in blue group, you're going to go over to the table with Miss Strickland.
Let's have purple group come right here so they won't be two groups.
Okay.
It might be a little crowded.
Okay,
Purple's gonna
purple,
come right
you're
here.
going to go by the door. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at your sentence with your color on it, and you're going to find that, what's your first step? No, don't call out, raise your hand. Carly, what's the first step? You're going to find your keywords in this sentence. What is the next step you're going to do? Julia.
Put it into your own words.
You're going to put it into your own words. So find your keywords, take it out of the text, put it into your own words. I'm going to be coming around to check and see who's doing it. If y'all are doing a good job, I'll pass around Briar Bucks. Does everybody understand what I want you to do? Yes? Then there should be no problems. When I turn on the lights, I want you to go to where I told you. Green group at that table. Blue with Mr. I didn't say, sit down. I did not say move. Blue with Miss Strickland, purple by the door, and red and orange on those two carpets. Go.
So now you gonna write with your hands? Madre, what are you gonna write on and what write with?
I want you guys to work as a group and paraphrase your sentence. All right, guys, what's our sentence? Write it down.
doesn't need to call us. Take your pen. So let's look at the industry here.
An hour shower.
If your group finishes, I have more, I want you to come up to one person from your group to come up to me, and I'll give you another card with another fact, okay? Keep going.
Samaya, you need to be at that table. Daquan, you need to be at that table.
He's copying. He's copying. And then he's going to come up.
Okay. So what do you say?
So here's,
What do you think?
he's almost done. As soon as he's done.
No, we're not asking you a question. You have nothing.
And we were looking for keywords.
Did you know
Numbers,
that
really
you
complicated.
take the back
Don't
sentence?
worry about that. But a female marsupial, such as a kangaroo or a koala, has a pouch on her baby.
Did you know in
So we were looking at this sentence, and we were looking for keywords. One of our keywords, if you want to underline this, one of the keywords we found was kangaroo.
And we're asking a question.
Okay, so underline those words. Now I want you to look at
Did
those
we
words
use our
and
keywords?
think about how we could rewrite this sentence.
Goldfish.
So I have you underline the words.
China. Check.
Now think about how you can rewrite this sentence.
Did you know that goldfish was flown in China?
If you want to start rewriting,
Let's start with the end of the sentence. What can we say? Goldfish were what? Flown in China. And what? In 1981. We read it.
you guys got it? If you're done, bring the notebook up to me.
Write it another way.
One person.
We start with the word scientist.
Okay, so there's your key words. So now how are you going to rewrite that?
In China. Another word. During.
As a group. How do you rewrite your sentence? Okay.
So could there be a million ways to rewrite it?
Why don't you
Yes,
share
but
that?
the one thing we can't do is write in 1981 scientists in China. Because guess what? We just took it.
That's where it's
And we copied it and we played it. This is serious. My sister used to keep that
good job. That's great. You guys are doing great.
direct facts into the big newspaper. She thought,
Kangaroos have house for the babies. You guys are doing awesome. Raise your hand if you're done with your sentence. You found a paraphrase that works. Okay. How about we share? Let's go to purple group. All right, everybody, what?
Somebody from Purple Group, stand up and
Stand
share.
up. Okay. Somebody from purple group that has a paraphrase, stand up. There does not need to be any talking. Okay. There are 7 species of sea turtles and they are all endangered. What is your paraphrase? Nice and loud.
Did you know that there are 7 types of species that there are 7 types of animals that are endangered, which is sea turtles?
Good. That's a really good one. All right. Let's look at green group. Who's got? Whoa. Okay. Let's do Anthony first. Sit down, guys. Sit down. Okay. Hold on. A female marsupial, such as a kangaroo worry about that. So we didn't even bother to include that. Anthony, go ahead and read what we came up with.
Kangaroo and koalas have pouches for their babies.
So good. He didn't include the marsupial. He only took kangaroo, koala, and pouches for babies. It was a hard one to put together, but we managed to cut a few words out to make it a little better. We could have made it better by putting "did you know?" That would have made it a little better. I know, and you did it. Fantastic, guys. Hold on, we only have time for one. All right, blue group, who has one? Okay. Nice and quiet, green group. Okay, Mason, go ahead.
Did you know in the year of 1981 in China, a goldfish was cloned?
That's fantastic. Great job. All right, red group. Who's got one from red group? Julia, go ahead. Pay attention, guys. Hold on. Our sentence is taking a bath uses 75% more water than taking a 5-minute shower. What was your paraphrase?
Think about when you take a bath. It takes 75% more water than when you take a 2-minute shower.
Good job. Fantastic. Really simple. Really easy. All right, orange group. There are over 200,000 different kinds of plants in the world. Who's got a really good one? Tamadra.
Did you know 200,000 different plants are in this planet?
Good. So he changed from world, he went to planet. He used did you know, and he just used plants. That's fantastic
Very
job.
nice. That was
I love that. All right, guys, we're going to get up quietly because we still have work to do. Up quietly, back to your desks. When you get this piece of paper, this is when you're using your green and red crayon. With your green and red crayon, you're going to read this passage. The passage on the left is your fact. The passage on the left is the sentence. On the right are two different paraphrases. You're going to read those two different paraphrases. You're going to read those two different paraphrases, and you're going to, with your green one, circle the one you think is the right one. With your red one, circle the one you think is the wrong one, or the bad one.
I just want to let you know that second grade testing is finished for today. Second grade testing is finished for today.
Okay, so everybody know what they're doing, because I better see your crayons out and you circling, Charlie. Green one, circle the right paraphrase. Red one, circle the one that's not very good. And guys, if it helps you, you can take your red or green crayon, look for those keywords. If it looks like one paraphrase has more keywords than the other, then you need to look at that and say, well, one of them has more words. So that can't be the right paraphrase. That can't be a good one if it has more words.
a back.
I know. I did it.
Yep, and there's a back to this, guys. Raise your hand if you're done. Okay. Keep your hands raised. Guys are going to paraphrase the ones I'll give you.
So we just write it on your paper.
Yeah, you can write it either in your notebook or on that piece of paper. Two more minutes, guys. One more minute. Okay. We're gonna go over this real quick. Okay, guys. Pass your paper to the person closest to this row. So pass it in this way. Pass your papers. Okay, alright. Bring them in, it's okay. Okay. There you go. Come on, guys, it's not hard. Pass them in. Pass them to the center. Pass them to the center. Yeah, I got some up the front. It's okay. Okay. Mr. Strickland, they're all yours.